So hopefully some of you might have seen the Rockett Dude pedals that I've been putting out over the last few days. I've been wanting to try that pedal for ages and managed to get my hands on one, and I'm super happy with the way it sounds, and it sounds good through all of my amps, especially the Mesa Boogie Electrodyne, which in that field of pedals you've got like the Mad Professor cymbal or the Zen Drive. I found didn't work particularly well on my Electrodyne clean channel because it didn't manage to tame any of the top end, so you were left with like that kind of sizzly fizzy thing, which to me doesn't really resemble the kind of Dumble ODS tone. So yeah, super happy with the Dude, but I've also managed to get hold of a Melody, a Rockett Melody, which is Mark Lettieri, the guitarist from Snarky Puppy and other stuff, his signature drive. And if I had to guess, I figure the thinking with this pedal is that when he's on tour, sometimes he's going to be using backline amps that he's not necessarily familiar with, and as I understand it, some sort of touring amps and stuff can have all sorts of quirks, and so it makes sense to pair the EQ with a drive pedal. So it's a 6-band EQ, and to me this seems like a super useful and practical idea, and for some reason we don't see that much of it. I know the Thor PFX Team Medic I managed to try. That's less of a drive pedal and more of a boost pedal though. So I'll be interested to hear. So that's enough talking for a minute. So here's clean tone. It's the Iridium, it's kind of a Fender deluxe reverb kind of sound. Anyway, so here's the pedal being turned on for the first time. Oh, cool. So all of these light up, which I didn't realise when the pedal's engaged. That looks kind of awesome. I'm going to turn the volume to halfway and leave the gain where it is at the moment. Gain at a quarter of the way. Gain at halfway now. Okay, gain 3/4 of the way now. I'm going to back the volume off just a tad. And now here's all of the gain. So here's pedal off again, just to show you how clean the clean is. And then all of the gain. So, first of all, it probably makes sense to say that with all of that EQ exactly where it is, I really like that tone. So that's got to be a good thing to be starting from a place where everything kind of sounds good flat. So one sound I guess I like is tube screamer, so I'm going to guess that the middle two are going to be where your mids are, so I'm going to boost them fully just to see what that sounds like. Maybe I'll start with that bottom one. So the third one in is like a lower mid. And then that's a slightly higher mid. So your tube screamerish type tones are probably, I've got no real idea, but I feel it might. So if I was using it for a solo tone, I think I would probably employ a bit of a mid boost as well. I'm going to do the opposite now with a little cut. So I can kind of hear that there's some super versatile. You could take off the low end for a kind of a lo-fi kind of sound. But it's still, everything seems to still kind of sound good to me. I'm going to just boost the bottom low. So kind of adding an insane amount of bass to your tone there if you wanted that sort of thing. So if you had an amp where playing with a Strat, you're feeling that your lead tone was getting kind of thick, you could boost some of these mids and lows. So kind of lots of stuff going on there. Now what I was wondering is, this was one of the pedals that I thought might work really well with the Electrodyne, given that you've got so much tonal shaping, and I was wondering if perhaps this slider on the very far end might be the key to some of those fizzy things that are happening with some tones. So I'm going to switch over to the Vox now, just because that's more of an amp where you can get that kind of harsh fizzy thing going on. So let's hear what it sounds like first. So if I turn the treble cut all the way off on the Vox, this is kind of the brightest, ugliest tone I think there is on the Iridium. I'll just show you firstly without the melody. So tried some different cabs. I'm going to turn the treble all the way up. So it's not that easy to get super ice picky tones with the Iridium, but this is kind of the setting that is closest to that kind of thing. So the mid acts as a treble cut, so I've turned that off and I've dimed the treble and I've got it on cab A. So that's, now I'm going to put the melody on, so we'll hear what happens. So even without doing anything, I don't think that sounds as ice picky as a lot of pedals that I've heard. But you can hear that there's this raspiness, so I'm going to dime this far slider and see if that so that kind of gets rid of most of that. It's probably a little bit extreme as it's making things quite dark, but so you can hear that's kind of tamed a lot of the that high end, that fizz that could be present. If you take off too much of that one, it kind of does still stay fizzy, so okay, so that works quite nicely. If you boost the slider just in from the right, you can boost some of those high frequencies before the harsh frequencies, and that kind of so here's flat again. So a lot of well, almost kind of infinite amounts of stuff you could do with a pedal like this. Super versatile. I guess what I'm liking about it is that the stock gain sound is already really pretty sounding to my ears. So I can see that from my limited amount of playing around here that the gain control on this is super. It's got lots of play, and then that's even before you get to the 6 EQ sliders, and kind of a daunting prospect to think of how many different tones you might be able to create with this. I'm especially interested to see what I can do with the Electrodyne clean channel, which has got that super sparkly thing going on. I guess this is exactly the tool that I'd be wanting if I was going out and playing with random amps and stuff. Years ago, I think maybe 2015 or 16, I went to Israel for a month to play as part of a function band out there, and all I knew was that I would be plugging into a Fender Twin. That was the information that I had, and so I don't have a Fender Twin at home, and not only that, but I didn't know what state is that Fender Twin going to be in. What speakers it got in it? Is it a reissue? Is it an old amp? What does it sound like when driven? And so it's kind of, you're going in completely blind with an amp that you're going to have to spend some time with. Even if it was one show, that's could be an issue. And so to take a pedal which is a drive and an EQ in one, and something as powerful as this, makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm kind of surprised that more companies don't do this sort of thing. It seems like a really novel idea, and yeah, I'm excited to try some more with it. If this is the sort of thing you like to watch, then you like and subscribe. I do a lot of this sort of thing. And if you could leave a comment just telling me what you want me to try with the pedal, I'd be happy to do what I can, and you should be seeing a bit more of it in the coming week. Thanks for watching.